Welcome to Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. Your Real Money Talks host, Laurel Langmeyer, gets straight to the point about what it actually takes to make money and build lasting wealth in today's changing economic climate. If you're ready to get the financial results you've always dreamed of, keep listening. Real Money Talks is the right place for you. And now here's your host, Laurel Langmeyer.
Hi, this is Laurel, and you're at Laurel's Real Money Talks, and this is part of a two-part podcast series where I've talked about Guerrilla Wealth and going back to the basics of how I actually got the book written, the persistence that it took to get it done, and then inside of that, the persistence for you to really go through 8 steps. And again, I'm going to have you write them down. I went through them in the first 4 of the 8 in the first podcast. And again, you can always go to Laurel's Real Money Talks and grab the first part if for somehow this came to you and this is your first podcast download for today. And not only grab that, but grab some from the past. We go through a whole series of how to make money, keep money, invest money, and do it with a team. And there's a variety of different topics and a variety of videos. There's a whole variety of interviews with just extraordinary people. And stay tuned because the interview section is going to be ramping up to some of the greatest economic and financial brains, I think, on the planet. So Guerrilla Wealth, in my book, became a bestseller and then caused my Millionaire Maker series to be written from it. Because I put it out on Amazon. I put it out into the world and I got a bigger book as a result of it. So in the 8 steps of the Guerrilla Wealth process, the first 4, again, just for a quick review, is your wealth conditioning, figuring out your financial baseline, your financial freedom day, managing your lifestyle cycle, and building your wealth cycle foundation, acceleration of your wealth cycles, leadership of your wealth team. And the 8th that is not mentioned a lot, but there's just an 8 is you and your goals and your passion and what you're going for in your life. So I think there's, earlier I said there's 8, and the last one isn't really deeply written about in the book, but knowing what I know now, knowing your financial goals is just, and what you're going to do with it. In my first podcast, as I started this, I said, money's just a tool. You have to know what to do with it. So again, let's keep going on the chapters through let's keep going on the chapters through the Guerrilla Wealth book. And we left off on managing your lifestyle cycle, which sets up the building of your wealth cycle foundation. So again, most people, and against the conditioning, think about it from the past, you've been conditioned to focus on what you're going to buy, what it's going to cost you per month. And your entire world is organized and designed around pitching you stuff that's going to cause you a monthly payment versus what does it cost and can you have a better deal? Can you get a better rate of return if you actually bought it in its entirety on a one pay and do it differently, which then sets up building your wealth cycle. So building your wealth cycle is about that conditioning. It's about the focus of a wealth cycle instead of a lifestyle cycle. So a wealth cycle is focusing on income, the different kinds of income, the quality of income. Where does the money come from? Does it just come from a job? Does it come from 2 jobs? Does it come from an entrepreneurial venture? Like, where does your money come from? Is it capital gains? Like, how are you making it? And is there enough diverse sources for you to have a variety of different incomes? The other part of this is your assets, is what are you accumulating? So what % of all the money that you're making are you keeping? And are you getting really rigorous about the amount of money? So every time that it comes in, how much is being put away and kept away for you to have the life that you really want, what you're going for. And notice the amount of time that you focus and energy and learning that you've given to the income and asset side of your life versus the liability and expense side of your life. So when you build a wealth cycle foundation, my advice always is to carve out time, have either a family meeting, If you're single and you don't have folks, you can join masterminds or groups. We have fast cash coaching. We have monthly calls. We have a whole variety of just awesome Facebook Live ways that you can engage with us to be in this conversation. And just notice, like, even an extra hour a week of focusing on your income, what could that cause for you in your life? Focusing on assets. I know when I really, really took this to heart and became a millionaire, in 1999, I literally had to reorganize my day to do this step. I mean, my first part of the first part of this podcast, I said, number 4, like chapter 4 and 5 are just so critical of getting off of. And now you add the secret law of attraction to atrophy is another way to think about it. Atrophy those muscles of that lifestyle focus and conditioning and strengthen the ones of a wealth cycle. So again, in 1999, I literally had to flip my day, and I started my day with the focus of assets, like what's causing the asset side of my life to grow, what's causing it to expand and, really generate. So I would get up in the morning. I was buying real estate. I lived on the West Coast. I was buying real estate in the Midwest. So I could get up at 5 and 6 in the morning and really focus with my partners on whether it was raising capital, whether it was purchasing a property, but really putting time and learning and energy and, that strengthening into my day. And then adding extra sources of income. So not just taking on casual little hobbies that hoped to make money, but really taking on focused energy, focused time that I was absolutely intending to make money. So again, when you think about the law of attraction, it's strengthening and atrophying energy. So when you want to strengthen and go for it, it's absolutely essential that you put those parts into your life and really carve out time. Bob Proctor, as you say, show me your calendar, show me your checkbook, and I'll show you what's important to you. So that's really what this is about. Show me what's important to you. Show me that a wealth cycle in your life is important to you. Because I can promise you, everyone that's wealthy gives time and energy, a lot of time, the majority of their time and energy, to their income and asset growth side of their life, not focused and worrying about the liabilities and the expense side of their life, and just knowing that you can always create. You can always create. Minimizing and contracting is easy because it doesn't require you to learn. It just causes you to have suffering. But generating and creating, you got to have some new skills. You got to have some new learning. You've got to be around those people who do it. So number 4, the reducing and the atrophying of those lifestyle focus cycles. And then number 5, the growth and the building of adding time and adding energy and people to your life will be pivotal. It will be pivotal. When I look at people who become millionaires, now fast forward to the time that now I've become the millionaire maker, and I do that, not knowing that in 2004, or putting as much emphasis on it, seeing it now, it is absolutely, again, one of those persistent places where you've really got to get to your calendar. People say, well, how do you do it? And how did you do it? You change your day. You change your day. You change one thing, you'll change your life. So I can't give enough emphasis to the need for you to do that. Now, the number 6 is the acceleration of your wealth cycles. So how do you accelerate? Well, once a year, for those of you in the beginning, add a new income stream. Now, if you're a little more mature and growing, add one a quarter. And for some of us, we add one a month, where we add a new income stream, a new joint venture partner, something new that's going to contribute to the income side of your life. And then on the asset side, as far as accelerating your wealth, I want you to really focus on what is that for you. So maybe it's buying an extra piece of property during the year. Maybe it's buying 2 or 3 extra pieces of property during the year. Maybe it's buying a new gas and oil well. Maybe it's buying a franchise, but it's buying something of new asset and growth, and really noticing that most people park and pray. They park their money into the stock market and pray to God someone's going to do something about it. So I want you to notice where your energy again is, what your focus is. I want you to set some goals for what it is you want for new income and for new assets. Now, number 7 is you got to lead. Now, you're not doing this by yourself. And this is where I started coining the word a team-made millionaire. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire. No one's done it by themselves. No one will ever do it by themselves. And I want you to think about your team. And right now, what you could do is make a list of those team members that you have. And in my chapter, in the 7th chapter of the Guerrilla Wealth book, I write about the people that you need. And those folks now were, 2017 have grown and shifted, but you've always needed a tax strategist. Depending on what you're doing on the asset side or the business side of your life, you need a lawyer. You need, digital marketers. You need marketers. You need people who can help you grow and accelerate and get your word out about what it is you're doing. You need home help for those of you that are, moms and, working and doing, mom jobs. So you're going to need some home help. And for those of you that really want to sell your product, you're going to need a sales system. You're going to need a sales team. You're going to need sales strategists and really people that are going to contribute to the growth of your team and not looking at team members as an expense. That's one of the biggest lessons I think I watch a lot of people learn over and over and over is that they look at a team member and they say, oh, they're super expensive. No, they're not expensive. They're an asset that's contributing to the growth and giving you the freedom that you want. So let's spend our last bit of time here on the number 8, the big number 8, which is goals. And as I started the podcast, I said, money's just a tool. What are you going to do with it? And what are your goals? Not your goals just financially, because that really goes along with number 6 and accelerating your wealth cycle, foundation and what is the new income streams and what are the new asset streams. But I'm talking about goals for your life. Like, what are you going to do with the money? And I think for a lot of you, you need to ponder this and you need to think on this and you need to sit with it. And is it to provide a great home? Is it to provide schooling? Is it to provide a great lifestyle? I know for me, I did life differently. I watched people as I wrote this book and I wrote other books and I just studied, families of the wealthy. And what I watched many people do is save for that moment of glory retirement. And by that time, they might be sick, not as athletically fit to do the things that they wanted to do, burdened by debt. So I chose it for me. My goal early on was once I started having kids, they were going to travel with me. They were going to travel to every continent. So we have been everywhere but Antarctica. My daughter has to go back to South America. Otherwise, she has been everywhere. My son has been to all 6 of the 7 continents. We're actually, as a family, kind of giving up number 7, saying, there's so many other places we'd rather go back to. Like, we'd rather go back and do, more in-depth safaris than spend some time, going across the converging seas and getting to Antarctica. So we may be back on our radar, but it's something that as a family, we're shifting that goal. That was a goal, is to just live life to its fullest and to use the money that was acquired, during all those years to really live a full and traveled life. And we've haven't not done what we wanted. I mean, we said, yes, we want to do it. And we did it. And that was our financial goal. So I share that because I want you to really open up about what is it for you? Many, many people, I don't know how many people say, well, I just want to travel. Well, where and when? And start laying it into a calendar and setting it as a real goal instead of some fantasyful, elusive idea that someday this is all going to happen for you, because it isn't. And if you've heard through this podcast and the part 1 of this podcast, calendaring to get a goal is so essential, from your financial goals to your income goals to your asset goals to then what to do with the money for your life and your lifestyle and your family and your community. It's absolutely essential to say what it is that you want and how you want to live it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's for. It's a tool for you to live the kind of life you want. And without the money, you may have some parts of it, but you don't have all of it. So this podcast is to have you get back to your roots. What is it about for you, right? I went through 8 things that are absolutely critical, I believe, in building your financial base. It's back to the basics, I call it. This basics will get you to the next level, which is millionaire planning. And I look forward to continuing this journey. So you've been listening to Laurel on Laurel's Real Money Talks. And go to asklaurel.com/podcast gifts. And I have a baseline form for you there. And if you would like this book, you are welcome to then go over to Ask Laurel, give me your name, phone number, and email. And we'll call somebody to have that conversation with you and have a book shipped right out. So look forward to our next podcast to continue to teach you how to make money, keep money, and invest money the way the wealthy do. Have an enormously fabulous day.
Thank you you for joining Laurel for this segment of Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. To continue this new conversation and to find free resources to support your wealth creation, visit asklaurel.com/podcast gifts. That's ASKLORAL.com/podcast gifts. Thanks for listening and join us again soon. New episodes are released every week.